Hi, Ted. Thank you for joining us. We're here with Ted Ellwood, President and CEO of Peloton Minerals, a CSE-listed company under the ticker PMC, who owns 3 gold exploration projects located in Nevada and 1 exploration project in Montana. Ted, you recently announced that you closed the first tranche of your financing, and you wrote off accrued management fees. Could you provide some clarification on that and where you currently stand with the financing?
Yes, we're currently raising $1 million for our 2020 exploration program. A couple of our larger shareholders immediately stepped up to take $250,000 or like the lead order, so that is quite encouraging. We announced basically the closing of the first tranche of that financing, and then we've got a lot of other shareholders that are quite interested, and others because of the nature of our project and our ultimate objectives. The second part of that press release was that we had written off $184,000 of management fees. Actually, that was $184,000 that was owed to myself, and it came about or arose a number of years ago when we were bringing money into the company, and I preferred that it go into the projects instead of into my pocket. So it's been on the books these years, and our auditors reminded myself again that it was still owed when we were doing our financials or year end the other day or recently. And so I directed them to permanently write that amount off. At the end of the day, my win is going to be with the ultimate stock price. I've got 4 million shares, so a little bit of salary isn't going to make that much difference at the end of the day, we hope. And in fact, if you look at the insider trading reports over the last 6 or 8 months, I think I've added another 400,000 or 500,000. I think I might have lost track out of the market on a steady basis. So, my bet is all in on the stock ultimately at the end of the day.
Going forward, what is the company's focus for 2020?
Well, to put our company into context, just for starters, our objective is to ultimately get taken over by a major mining company. We have no intention of mining the projects that we're actively exploring on. Our goal right from the outset is to find a deposit that a major mining company would want to take us over for, so that all of our shareholders can cash in, and then maybe we'll all go forward on something else after that. But it'd be nice to get a payday for everyone. So it's easy to say that's what your objective is, and then it's a different thing to do it. So what we've done is we've identified certain things that major mining companies typically want, and we go about selecting projects that meet those specific criteria. One of them we generally think is that a major company would be interested in a deposit that's got 1 million ounces or more, that's either being delineated or certainly can be identified through exploration. And so that's what we look for as one of the metrics that go into the selection. And so after sifting through a lot of different projects, we've come up with 3 right now that we have that are in the portfolio that we feel objectively meet that criteria. And last year we were quite happy. We went forward with the initial programs on all 3 of them. They were all successful. And so in 2020, we're looking to carry forward that momentum, take each of them to the next step, and keep working toward what the ultimate goal of the company is.
Excellent. Can you talk a bit about the team that you've put in place to achieve that?
Sure. It's quite a well-rounded team. Myself, I'm not a geologist. I'm an MBA. I come from the finance business side of things, but I think I came upon it naturally. The resource sector, both of my grandparents were gold prospectors in northern Manitoba, Canada. So from about the age of 5, I was busy out there banging on rocks looking for gold. So it's carried on, and I think for the last 25 or 30 years, I've been on the business side of supporting various mining and exploration projects mainly in Canada and the United States. So I kind of gathered the team together and then helped with the project selection and strategy. Our chairman is a fairly well-known mining securities lawyer in Toronto. We've got an environmental person on the board who owns a company that does a lot of remediation work for northern mine projects in Canada. Our director of business development, Paul Theodorovich, is in Montreal. And then there's a mining engineer that's worked around the world on the board. And our senior geologist is regarded as an expert in the Great Basin area of Nevada, where we're largely focused. And he's backed up by a former Barrick geologist and a couple of world-class geophysicists. So it's a very well-rounded team. I think combined, we've got about 300 years of combined experience playing our various roles in the exploration business. And it's not always just a geologist that it takes to find an ore body. It's a well-rounded team, and I think we've got the right one put together.
Phenomenal. Let's talk about the current situation, which we can't ignore. Considering the current state of the global economy and the infusion of billions of dollars by governments around the world, in your opinion, what's the future of gold?
It's going to go up. Should I embellish?
Maybe a little bit. What you think the future of the price of gold is going to be? That would be great.
Yes, I think the price of gold has no choice but to go up. It's basic economics when central banks around the world print up the amount of money that they're printing up right now with nothing to back it. And I'm not saying that there isn't good reason that they're printing this money up, but it just has to lead to inflation, and it's effectively devaluing the currencies throughout the world. So to retain value, you've got to go to real tangible assets, one of them being gold bars, for example. And even if you held a gold bar and it stayed at the current price, with the dollars being devalued, that gold bar is actually becoming worth more. So there's gold bars, there's gold mining companies, and then there's good junior companies that have great prospects that also add to the leverage of your dollar.
Excellent. And what can you say to current shareholders who are thinking about increasing their position, as well as to potential new investors about building shareholder value?
Well, the first thing I would point to is our existing shareholders that have immediately stepped up for $250,000 to participate in the momentum of 2020, as I called it. The second thing is that I would reiterate what our objectives are, and that is to find a large ore body. We're very systematic in how we go about it, and we have good reason to choose the projects that we're choosing, and we have a good focus and a solid business plan. In that regard, I might just bring up the price of gold in the ground. Typically gold as a value in the ground when you're looking at a takeover is worth about 10%. So if a deposit is being looked at, a major company is going to take over a junior for the deposit they have, the value typically is about 10% of the gold price. So at 1,600, that makes it $160 worth of gold in the ground. That million-ounce ore body that I mentioned as our objective, that translates into 160 million market cap. We're currently trading at about an 8 million market cap. So by getting on board and seeing us through, that's a 20 times return if we're ultimately successful. I might add that that's maybe not the limit. The Long Canyon deposit that was found not far from where we're currently working in Nevada a few years ago was discovered by a company out of Vancouver called Frontier Minerals. They're trading initially at 25 cents, same kind of business plan that we have. They're ultimately taken over at $14 a share by Newmont. The total transaction value was $2.3 billion. So that gives you an idea of the ultimate value of some of these deposits that we're looking for in Nevada.
That's great, Ted. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. And we definitely look forward to seeing what you're going to be doing this drilling season in 2020. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you for your interest.